Hello YouTube and welcome. In this video I would like to share with you my new commander deck. So I am building a Merfolk deck for the past 3 months. So long story short, all starts with the release of this set Excellent. So with the release of this we get some new Merfolk cards and a new ones, the green types. So I thought it was the right time and the right way to start building my commander deck for the Merfolks. So to do this, uh, of course, I collect some cards from the Excellent set. At the same time as this release, there was the Jace, the Planeswalker deck. So I noticed that this deck practically was a Merfolk deck, so I added to my commander deck. A month or so past the release of this, Wizards release also the dual deck, so I grabbed the Merfolk to edit some new cards for my deck. And now, of course, with the release of the Rivals of Excellent, I almost ready to start playing with my new Merfolk commander deck. So until until recently, I was playing with Tishana, the Voice Thunder, as my commander card. But now with the release of the Rivals of Excellent, I changed it for another card. And right now, my commander for this Merfolk commander deck, it's Kumena, Tyrant of Orzaka. So for 3 drops, tap another untapped Merfolk you control. Kumena, Tyrant of Orzaka can be blocked this turn. Tap 3 untapped Merfolk you control, draw a card. Tap 5 untapped Merfolk you control, put a +1/+1 counter on each Merfolk you control. And it is a 2/4. So I changed the commander card for this one, especially for the cost to enter. And it is a great card, of course. So start with the basics. In this deck I use 20 basic lands, islands in this case, 9 forests, for some special lands I have Bleated Cataract, tap it for 1 color's mana to your mana pool. For 6, sacrifice Bleated Cataract, draw 2 cards. Bleated Woodland, tap it for 1 mana to your mana pool. For 4, sacrifice it, search your library up to 2 basic land cards and put them into the battlefield, tap it, then shuffle your library. The Command Tower, tap it, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any color in your commander's color identity. Woodland Stream, he enters in the battlefield, tap it, adds 1 forest or 1 island to your mana pool. Lonely Sandbar, he enters in the battlefield, tap it, adds an island to your mana pool, and he has the cycle for 1. For enchantments, I have Deep Root Waters, 3 drops. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with Hexproof. Invisibility, 2 drops. Enchant creature. Enchant creature can't be blocked except by walls. And it is one of the Portuguese cards that I have in this deck. So this one is Merrow Commerce. So at the end of your turn, untap all the Merfolks you control. 1 Wind to Wind, 2 drops, Enchant Creature. Enchant Creature gets +2/+2 and has Flying, very useful. Now for the sorceries. I have Crashing Tide, 3 drops. Crashing Tide has flash as long as you control a Merfolk. Return target creature to his owner hand, then draw a card. X-Tracing Melody, an X and 2 drops. Gain control of target creature with converted mana cost of X. Great card, this one. Architect's Will, 1 drop. Put a flat counter on target land. That land is an island in addition to the other types for as long as it has a flat counter on it. If you control a Merfolk, draw a card. Concentrate, 4 drops, draw 3 cards. Mind Spring, an X and 2 drops, draw X card. For the instant, I have Spell Pierce, 1 drop, counter target non-creature spell unless his controller pays 2 colors. Opt for 1 drop, scry 1, then draw a card. Twiddle, 1 drop, tap or untap target artifact, creature or land. Negate, 2 drops, counter target non-creature spell. Cancel, 3 drops, counter target spell. Dispel, 1 drop, counter target instant spell. River Herald's Boon, 2 drops, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and a +1/+1 counter up to another target Merfolk. Timid Hopes, 2 drops, counter target spell unless his controller pays for 1, then scry 1. Luminescence Rain, 3 drops, choose a creature type. You gain 2 life for each permanent you control of that type. This card is a great surprise in this deck. Blinding Fog, 3 drops, prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures this turn. Creatures you control gains X-Proof until the end of the turn. Unsummon, 1 drop, return target creature to his owner hand. Excense Scuttler, 2 drops, counter target creature spell. Engulf the Shore, 4 drops, return to the owner hand all creatures with toughness less than equal to the number of islands you control, and this card is very nasty. Now for the juice of this deck, of course, we have the creatures. Now I'm going to start with Tishana, the Voice of Thunder, that I show you at the beginning of the video. So for 7, Tishana Voice of Thunder, power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size. When Tishana enters in the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you control. So this is also a great card. Kumena Speaker, 1 drop. Kumena Speaker gets +1/+1 as long as you control another Merfolk or an island, and it is a 1/1. Merfolk Solving, 3 drops. Other Merfolk creatures you control gets +1/+1. Tap it, target Merfolk creature can't be blocked this turn, and it is a 2/2. This is another Portuguese card, so in English it is Deep Channel Mentor. So all the blue creatures you control can't be blocked, and it is a 2/2. River Sneak, 2 drops. River Sneak can't be blocked. Whenever another Merfolk enters in the battlefield under your control, River Sneak gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn, and it is a 1/1. Jade Guardian, 4 drops. He has X-Proof. When Jade Guardian enters in the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target Merfolk you control, and it is a 2/2. Title Courier, 4 drops. When enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all Merfolk cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And for 4, Title Courier gains flying until the end of the turn. and it is a 1/2. Wake Thrasher, 3 drops. Whenever a permanent you control becomes untapped, Wake Thrasher gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn, and it is a 1/1. This is one of the greatest cards in this deck. Tidebinder Mage, 2 drops. When enters the battlefield, tap target red or green creature an opponent controls. Then creature doesn't untap during his control's untap step for as long as you control Tidebinder Mage, and it is a 2/2. Ink Phantom Divers, 5 drops. He has Heisenwalk. When enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, then put them back in any order, and it is a 3/3. Master of the Pearl Trident, 2 drops. Other Merfolk creatures you control gets +1/+1 and have Eisenwalk, and it is a 2/2. Tidal Warrior, 1 drop. Tap it, target land becomes an island until the end of the turn, and it is a 1/1. Forerunner of the Heralds, 4 drops. When enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a Merfolk card, reveal it, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. Whenever another Merfolk enters in the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Forerunner of the Heralds, and it is a 3/2. Herald of Secret Streams, 4 drops. Creatures you control gets +1/+1 counters on them and can't be blocked, and it is a 2/3. Cold Eye Selkie, 3 drops. He has Heisenwalk. Whenever deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards, and it is a 1/1. Merfolk Looter, 2 drops. Tap it, draw a card, then discard a card, and it is a 1/1. Strambit Architect, 3 drops. Tap it, target Merfolk creature gets +1/+1 and gains Eisenwalk until the end of the turn. Or tap it, target land becomes an island until the end of the turn, and it is a 2/3. Merfolk Mistbinder, 2 drops. Other Merfolks you control gets +1/+1, and it is a 2/2. Vine Shaper's Mystic, 3 drops. When enters in the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each up to 2 target Merfolks you control, and it is a 1/3. Shaper Apprentice, 2 drops. He has flying as long as you control another Merfolk, and it is a 2/1. Causes Tricker, 1 drop. Whenever an opponent shuffles his or her library, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Causes Trickster, and it is a 1/1. Deep-Root Champion, 2 drops. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Deep-Root Champion, and it is a 1/1. Marrow Jerry, 3 drops. Other Merfolk creatures you control gets +1/+1. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you may tap or untap target permanent, and it is a 2/3. Water Trap Weaver, 3 drops. When enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during his control's next untap step, and it is a 2/2. Shapers of Nature, 3 drops. For 4, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. For 3, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control, then draw a card, and it is a 3/3. Merfolk Mesmerite, 2 drops. For 1 drop, tap it, target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, and it is a 1/2. Scroll Thief, 3 drops. Whenever Scroll Thief deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and it is a 1/3. Harbinger of the Tide, 2 drops. You may cast it Harbinger of the Tide As to it has flash if you pay 2 more to cast it. When enters the battlefield, you may return target tapped creature an opponent controls to his owner hand, and it is a 2/2. Merfolk Wayfinder, 3 drops. He has flying. When Merfolk Wayfinder enters in the battlefield, reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Put all eyes on cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, and it is a 1/2. Master of Waves, 4 drops. He has protection from red. Elemental creatures you control gets +1/+1. When enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/0 blue elemental creature tokens equal to the devotion to blue, and it is a 2/1. Tempest Caller, 4 drops. When enters in the battlefield, tap all creatures target opponent controls, and it is a 2/3. World Shaper, 4 drops. Whenever attacks, you may put the 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. When World Shapers dies, put all land cards from your graveyard onto the battlefield, tap it, and it is a 3/3. Deepwater Hypnotism, 2 drops. He has Inspired. Whenever Deepwater Hypnotism becomes untapped, target creature an opponent control gets -3/-0 until the end of the turn, and it is a 2/1. Seafloor Oracle, 4 drops. Whenever a Merfolk you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and it is a 2/3. Wind Strider, 5 drops. He has Flash and Flying, and it is a 3/3. Nightborn Triton, 3 drops. So it's a creature 2/3, and also he has Bestow. So for 5, he can enchant a creature. Enchant creature gets +2/+3. This is another Portuguese card. So this one in English it is Church Spanner for 4 drops. Every time this card turns it's tapped, you may pay for 2. If you do, return target permanent to his owner hand, and it is a 2/2. This is the only creature that I have that isn't a Merfolk, but it is a funny card, this one. So, and it comes in the Jace Planeswalker deck. Fleet Swallower, 7 drops. When attacks, target player puts the top half of his or her library, rounded up, into his or her graveyard, and it is a 6/6. Very nasty card. Now, the artifacts that I'm using in this deck: Pristine and Talisman for 3 drops. Tap it, adds 1 mana to your mana pool, and you gain 1 life. Of course, the famous Soul Ring, 1 drop. Tap it, adds 2 to your mana pool. Vanquish Banner, 5 drops. As enters in the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type gets +1/+1. Whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. Nice card, this one. Metallic Mimic, 2 drops. As Metallic Mimic enters in the battlefield, choose a creature type. Metallic Mimic is the chosen type creature. Each other creature you control of the chosen type enters in the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and it is a 2/1. And Door of Destinies, 4 drops. As Door of Destinies enters in the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on Door of Destinies. Creatures you control of the chosen type gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on Door of Destinies. This is a really great card. Finishing just I want to show you the tokens that I'm using in this commander deck. So I have, of course, the blue Merfolk tokens with X proof with 1/1, and of course the elemental blue creatures tokens, they are 1/0. So far this is what I have in this my new commander deck. So the Merfolk, right now the Kumena's Tyrant of Orzaka deck, if I can say so. If you noticed through the cards, like I explained at the beginning, um, almost all cards are from the Excellent Rivals of Excellent, from the Planeswalker deck and from the dual deck, the Merfolk uh, deck. The most cards that I use in here. Of course, I added some few to to become better, but after all, this is what I get collecting all these cards and building my first commander deck from the beginning. So this is what I have to share with you. I hope you like it, you enjoy it. Until the next time, see you.